Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Okay, so some VMware Broadcom news. I did one at the beginning of the week, but something has finally been issued. So I thought we'd talk about that as well. But we'll revisit, first of all, what I spoke about at the beginning of the week, which was the important update from Broadcom about the important changes, or the important update, the changes to how you will download VMware software binaries going forward. This implementation is now actually live, so you can follow the videos that I've created. That effectively what it basically means is that in the future, from the date for your diary, I've got March 24th, 2025 there, but I think it's actually that was when it was sort of kind of implemented. I think the actual final date is April 23rd, 2025. So from April 23rd, 2025, if you've not updated your VMware vCenter Server VLCM with the download token, and yes, you get the download token from the Broadcom portal. So if you don't currently have an existing site ID and you don't have an agreement number against the site ID, you won't be able to generate the download token. And if you can't generate the download token, then if you try to use updates over the air using ESX CLI for VMware vSphere Hypervisor, for instance, or you use VLCM, you will find that that particular download link, which currently points to VMware, a VMware domain, isn't going to function. And if you don't actually basically incorporate the download token into the new URLs, which point at Broadcom, you're going to get an error message, a 404 as well. So this is a big change, as I sort of kind of predicted, and I actually went back and had a little look. There was a Reddit post that I posted a while ago, and I actually basically turned around there and said that this is likely to be paywalled in the future. And of course it is a little bit earlier than planned. I think a lot of us sort of kind of suspected that with the release of VMware vCenter Server 9 and ESXi 9, which, yes, are in beta at the moment, that we would see those changes slipstreamed into that, like VCF 9 and currently the VCF product. So I think it has surprised a lot of us that that's been brought forward. But that's probably no surprise because of the critical update that came out on the 4th of March. And I'm sure Broadcom saw a massive traffic requests against their servers, people patching, and the penny probably dropped that a lot of those sites basically were home labs, or people didn't actually basically have support contracts. Is this a mechanism where Broadcom is going to try and get money out of organizations for support contracts or not? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Some people have sort of kind of suggested that it's a sort of blackmail sort of kind of tactic. I don't think so. I don't think some organizations have got the sort of money to carry on using VMware vSphere anyway. So I think this is probably just going to speed up for some organizations their migration plans, if they can no longer obtain critical updates. And that is still sort of kind of questionable, really. Read lots of different things about it. Some people have referred to statements made by Mr. Hock that actually stated that those organizations that had expired contracts, etc., and no support, they would still make critical and security updates available to them. Also, there is a knowledge base article that sort of kind of suggests the same. I've had discussions with Broadcom on behalf of our clients where they have not renewed. They are on perpetual licenses, the old perpetual star licenses, they decided that they were not going to move forward and renew onto a subscription-based model with support. They understand the risks of doing that. And when inquiries were made for those clients, they were told in no uncertain terms that because they didn't have an agreement, because they didn't have a site ID, there was no mechanism that they would be able to obtain the depot files was the question. But going forward, they're not going to have any mechanism to download tokens either. Those clients are adamant that they are just moving forward. That a lot of them to man have said that they'd had maybe 2 years or so to do this, but I think for some of them that's even sped up their plans. What are they going to select next? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? Of course, you know, the Proxmox community is growing, stating that it is a replacement for VMware vSphere. I think, to be frank and honest, I don't personally think that there is a replacement out there for VMware vSphere. If you look at all the bells and whistles and the functions and the ecosphere that it sits in with all the other bolt-on products, I think it's pretty unique. So what I'm actually basically saying is that if you're going to migrate off VMware vSphere, whatever that is, Hyper-V, Proxmox, XCP, Nutanix, there is some functionality that you're going to miss. The question is, were you using that functionality to start with? For instance, let's give you an example. FT. I know FT fault tolerance is included in the VMware vSphere licensing pack. Very few clients I know actually use it. So there's one feature that isn't available across a lot of hypervisor virtualization space. There's no FT, but if you were never ever using it, then it's not really a loss. So I think really going forward, I think organizations really have to look at what features and functions they actually require. Obviously, a big one of those is the fact that they can still back it up and restore. We have seen Veeam backup and replication start to basically move and target other platforms that can be done. That's probably one of the important things for organizations, that they can back up and restore. And then the other things, you know, like live migration, vMotion, HA, DRS, EVC, and all those other things. And there are lots of others. There's thousands and thousands of functions within VMware vSphere. As I said, whether or not that they are important to your organization or not, whether or not that you can get away in your organization with not using them, then obviously that's for your organization to look at. Anyway, so I think that's about enough really on changes to how you download your VMware software binaries. Again, if you look on the Hancock's VMware half-hour channel, you can find all the videos that you need to be able to make those changes. We've done them for vCenter Server 7 and 8. And we've shown you how to generate the tokens, integrate the tokens manually, also using the script. And we also showed you as well on how to use ESX CLI if you're going to carry on using that dirty method over the air. And we also basically showed you what happens as well if the download tokens get revoked as well. At this time, for those with vMug licenses who are part of the VMware vExpert program or part of vMug, and you're certified in a VCP-VVF or VCP-VCF, questions have been asked as to how vMug members, VMware vExperts with certifications are going to be able to patch their home labs, because of course they don't have a site ID or a contract. So a question has been asked there as to how that's going to work for them. Okay, so moving on, this is the next big change, and there have been rumors of this that I've seen in the last couple of weeks. And I must admit, it is very confusing out there for end users at the moment. Organizations that buy from resellers or vendors or partners, because a lot of the information that I've seen, they get different stories depending upon who they ask. And it's a bit like the old saying that we use in beekeeping, really, to be honest with you. If you have a question about beekeeping and you ask 12 beekeepers, you'll get 13 different answers. I think this is the same, really, which is actually what's going on at the moment with VMware by Broadcom and their resellers. I don't really know whether or not it's that they're not up to date, or things seem to be changing so fast that they can't keep up, or they're not bothered, they don't care, or they're not making enough money. I don't know. But anyway, so as you can see in the bottom there, another date for your diary, April 10th, 2025. The minimum number of cores that you can purchase is going to increase from 16 to 72. So again, this is going to have a big impact on those smaller organizations out there. So just let me read. Dear partner, we would like to inform you of a significant change made by Broadcom that will impact our joint business. Starting April 10th, the minimum number of cores required for VMware licenses will increase substantially from 16 to 72 per command line. Not quite sure what per command line has got to do with it there, really. Was this written by AI? I don't know. I don't know what command line has got to do with any of this. Anyway, so we've got an example. So if a customer has a single processor server with 8 cores, VMware by Broadcom will license 72 cores. On the other hand, if a customer has 5 dual processor servers with 16 cores each, 160 cores, VMware by Broadcom will license 160 cores. So effectively really basically means that all of a sudden, from the 10th of April 2025, your bill is going to get larger, and you're going to have to license cores that you don't already have. Now, this is really a similar mechanism to what operates in the Microsoft world with Windows licensing. Really, it's not really any different. We've had discussions in past, with core licensing with clients that been arguing for years. Well, we haven't got that many cores. Why should we be buying that many minimum core licenses? I'm afraid that's how it is. It's probably a page out of Oracle's book. Really, with core licenses. So that's it. Again, I think that will obviously speed up the migration of people off VMware vSphere or VMware vSphere Hypervisor 7 or 8. I don't know. Maybe this is what Broadcom wants. This new requirement may require adjustments to your current quotes. Yeah, it certainly will. Additionally, Broadcom has introduced penalties for end customers who have not renewed their subscription licenses already in place on the anniversary date. These penalties represent 20% of the price of the first year of subscription and will be applied retroactively. We strongly encourage you to check the status of your current fleets and commercial offerings with your usual Arrow VMware by Broadcom sales contracts, and to raise awareness among your customers so that you can proceed with the renewal referred to above by the penalties on that time. I always thought that was a thing anyway under VMware. I'm sure it was. I'm sure in the past, and when I say in the past, I'm talking about the past 27, 28 years that I've been dealing with the technology and dealing with clients. But I always thought it was a thing under SNS, support and subscription. If client support and subscription expired and it had lapsed by a month, and you went back to VMware and turned around and said, "Oh, we'd like to pick that up, please, and we'd like to, to pay," I'm sure that you got hit with a penalty then. So I don't really think that's changed. Or maybe when Broadcom took over VMware in 2023, they forgot about that, or that penalty lapse. I don't know. But anyway, that's how it is. So, dates for your diary, really, as I said, March 24th, 2025. Important changes to download software binaries, which will, from the 23rd of April, that will be definitely implemented. And then April 10th, 2025, then the minimum number of cores is going to increase from 16 to 72. So all I can say is hurry and get your licenses in before April 10th. But of course, I'm also sort of kind of hearing strange rumors that VVF is gone, Foundation's gone, Standard's gone, Enterprise is not going to be sold. You know, you can only have 3 years, you can't have a year. You know, like lots of Chinese whispers out there, really, to be honest with you. Anyway, I haven't had an espresso yet today, and I'm really, really struggling. Cats woke me up 4 a.m. this morning, and I haven't had my espresso yet. Anyway, so, you know, thank you very much for watching, you know, these little Hancock VMware half-hour weekly news segments. Have a good weekend, folks. I know I will. I'm going to put my feet up. You know, had some worrying news received this week, really, to be honest with you. So my head's in that very strange space. So again, you know, thank you very much for watching. If you like this little weekly news segment, then please give a thumbs up. If you don't like it, then please give a thumbs down and tell me why. And in the meantime, God bless and stay safe, stay alive. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.